Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. I thought I would give a bit of an update of some of my favorite music related YouTube channels. And there's been uh, three or four that I've never talked about before. And that's because they're kind of new to me. And, you know, I enjoy getting feedback on my channel. And obviously, you know, everybody's got an ego. Even I have an ego. It's very small. I'm talking about my ego. Uh, and being YouTube, you know, we have friendships, and friendships kind of go up and down a bit. There's, everybody's got these little jealousies and everything. I'm being very honest here. Uh, but at the end of the day, I seriously love all of these channels. And I'm not talking, by the way, I'm not talking about anybody I'm mentioning here about friendships or anything. I'm just saying overall, with YouTube, there's always this, there's sometimes this infighting. Me and Mr. Mayo and we had a couple of little skirmishes in the past. And I think we're both fine with each other. It's at the end of the day, it's stupid and it's silly. And I'm blaming myself. I'm not blaming Joe. Uh, all of us have our little, stupid things that we do on YouTube that are, at the end of the day, uh, I love everybody. That's what I'm trying to say. uh, so I hope you watch the whole video. And if there are some channels that I mentioned that you've never seen, I'm gonna have a link in the pinned comment for all of the channels. I hope you subscribe to them, but not just subscribe to them, but actually watch their content. Because if you enjoy my channel, I really think you're going to enjoy these channels that I'm talking about. And they're not in any particular order. And actually, uh, even though this was going to be a serious video, I was going to end it with a stupid joke because I have listed, none of these are in order except for my top five favorites. And, of course, number one was going to be me. That was the joke. But then it would take away from, the rest of the video, because I am being serious about really loving these channels. And also, I don't want to rank all of these because somebody is going to be butthurt. Robert's on my turntable is 14, and Glenn Kelway from the basement is 12, or whatever. But it has nothing to do with friendship. It just has to do with the content of all of the channels. So, and also the other thing is, I'm going to miss some people, and I apologize. I just realized I missed Randall Nelson. I really enjoy your channel, Randall, if you're watching. Sea of Tranquility with Pete Pardo. I don't watch his because I know somebody's going to mention, well, you never mentioned, this channel or that channel. I do watch it, but a lot of his is heavy metal based, which I'm not a big fan of. But his videos on like Blue Oyster Cult, some videos I find very interesting. He's excellent at what he does. So here we go. Now everybody's waiting. Oh, I hope he mentions my channel. Now remember, these aren't in any order except for the top five. So first up is Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. So they basically, obviously, talk about Paul McCartney. I've been on their show a few months ago, being interviewed about how I kind of lost interest in Paul McCartney for over 25 years.
Inspired him to maybe, and as it says, going back to roots type thing, right? Now there was a second paragraph. If you want to handle the one thing that,
anyway, they're very knowledgeable, and they actually had on Denny Sewell, the Wings original drummer, and he put together. I actually haven't really talked about this much, but he drums on this. It's a they're doing Ram, with a bunch of different musicians, and they're doing pretty straight versions of all of the songs. It's, they're keeping it just like the original, which I usually am not a fan of, but with this, I am a fan. So I highly recommend you checking this out. It's really enjoyable. So yeah, Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast is excellent.
It's really curious with the songwriting credit thing.
Yeah, so the post goes on to see, and again, this is not anything official. This is just a post that we saw.
Right.
Actually, without the where.
And similar is Talk More Talk, a solo Beatles video cast. And some of these channels, it bugged me. Like I was, going through these, and I wasn't subscribed to the channel, even though I had subscribed. So I had to subscribe again. Yeah, Talk More Talk is excellent.
When's wise doesn't change the fact of like how it sounded.
Yeah,
I know why Paul doesn't sound. It didn't sound as good as Mick there.
Yeah, I mean,
there were some comments that online. I know social media people were saying, "Look, everybody gets a free pass there because they're doing a good thing. They're doing a good deed, and you can't criticize anybody." And like I said at the beginning,
everything.
And that, of course, was Joe Mayo talking from Me, Mr. Mayo's channel. And yeah, some of the names I don't always remember. I know Tom there, but they're all excellent. And sometimes I don't even have time to leave a comment. Sometimes I watch shows like this on my television, and then I kind of forget to leave a comment. But I really seriously enjoy these. If you're a Beatles fan, check out these channels. Now, this channel I've talked about before. And they just every week they'll review a discography.
Everybody gets a free pass there because they're doing a good
thing. Be quiet,
they're
Joe.
Doing a good deed, and you can't criticize anybody. And
Bridge to Quiet from Animal Collective.
Yeah, this is Taste Like Music.
4 tracks, none of them under 7 minutes.
And they do album reviews. They do, like I said, discography reviews of bands and solo artists. They've done a lot. I don't, there's some weeks I'm not interested in the artists they're reviewing, but they've reviewed Yes and just too many to list, but I really, really enjoy this channel, so I highly recommend it.
Absolutely fantastic. It's everything you want Animal Collective to be, and kind of precedes like the album that came out this year, which I gave 5 stars to because it's got that kind of like
he and everybody, well, not everybody, but most people know this guy, Jim Newstead. He'll listen to a full album. He's listened to Close to the Edge, Tales from Topographic Oceans, Joe's Garage by Frank Zappa on vinyl, and with the headphones, and he'll listen. Usually it plays the whole album when he's playing it. And I find that interesting. Once again, depending on the artist he's listening to. So, yeah. And Jim Newstead has been on my live chats in the past. Great guy. And so check him out.
Plucks a bass guitar. Boom. That might have been one note too many. I hope I don't get a copyright strike.
Yeah, copyright strike.
He also does lead vocals. We have Michael Giles. He plays drums, percussion, and vocals, obviously in the days before Bill Bruford.
Well, if you want to see a naked guy on YouTube, just go to Glenn Kellaway from the Basement's channel, because in his last video, he was doing his unboxing for the Beatles Revolver box set and vinyl, and looks like he wasn't wearing any clothes. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. And, well, I'll get into the CD exchange in a bit, but Glenn and I are still on really good terms. There's always rumors floating around, and just ignore rumors. As I keep saying, I have chronic pain. I am in pain, even though I'm on medication. I've got this patch. No, I don't. It's on this side. Yeah, this Boutran's patch, which does help. But for me to sit here for a couple of hours, I can't do that anymore. But, you know, I'm not saying I won't do live chats in the future. But just for now, I just need a break from it all.
I think I need to get into the sun lamp or something. I'm heading to Florida for a few days next week, so maybe I'll come back looking a little better. There we go. What an amazing cover, right? Isn't that incredible? The back. Tell
Fans come.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Mayo, Joe Mayo. And yeah, I always enjoy his channel. I don't always agree with him. And that's fine, right? And even the way he, you know, he even says that, you know, the way he, you know, reviews and all that, he says he understands, right? People aren't always going to agree with him. And he just recently did yesterday, he did the review for the remix of Revolver. And I disagreed with some things, but yeah, I enjoyed his review. So check him out if you haven't already. And the other thing too is, a week or two ago, he was in the hospital, right? And even though, you know, I'll just say I was worried for him. You know, that's, you know, this YouTube friendship crap, you know, sometimes it's crap and it's phony and it's fake. But when I really get to know these people online, I do care about them. And I wanted Joe Mayo to get healthy. And so I was saying my own personal prayers to him when he was not feeling well. And I'm glad he's much better. I gotta cry now. Good morning, beautiful. This is Molly's cup. But she said I could drink from it.
Folks, you people out there who have said, and I'm going to be frank here, please understand where I'm coming from. Take it on the chin a little bit, don't let it floor you. But the thing is, if you're a diehard fan, again, I'm not talking about part-time fans, cat or pop.
So, this is Norman Maslow. Norman Maslow. And I always enjoy his channel. He's even shown a Sparks album, Kimono My House, and talked about it. And yeah, he loves a lot of the same music I do. He loves Yoko Ono like I do. And yeah, he's just, some of these channels I know that some people say they find my channel relaxing or whatever. I'm the same way with some channels like Norman Maslow. Just their personality. It's kind of relaxing to listen to them talk.
Wonderful out of the 1960s. In 1967, there was a film I saw as a young boy, and it was a film with the African-American actor Sidney Poitier, and that was To Sir with Love. And in the...
It's my buddy, Sam St. John, who won the last contest, and he's entered the one for December 1st, too.
It's a white sleeve.
He needs a haircut. Yeah, he's a fan of the Monkees and Americana. You know, once again, not everything that he likes or loves I'm into, but still, you know, the Beatles and everything, Paul McCartney. So I really do enjoy watching his channel.
It's staticky.
Easy.
Come on.
2003.
You all know this guy. It is the Prog Corner. It's Scott. And, you know, in case you don't know, he's had issues lately with his Apple phone, and totally understand him, you know, having these rants and everything and being angry, you know, because Apple locked his phone, and But anyway, he loves Prague, Jethro Tull, of course, and Yes. And great guy. He could up his energy a bit, though. You know, when he's been on my live chats, he's kind of shy, barely talks. But yeah, everybody, I think, loves the Prague Corner and Scott.
Keith Moon died in 1978. Led Zeppelin played their first show in 1968. Yeah, Pink Floyd, A Momentary Lapse of Reason came out in 1980.
And very...
It's Rachel's ghost. She is always doing a live stream. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but every time I check my phone or I'm on my computer, there's Rachel and she's on a live stream. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. She never sleeps. Yeah. And we like a lot of the same music, of course. And she's into Sparks, the Beatles, Paul McCartney, lots of vinyl. And I just really, you know, and sometimes I do want to sometimes drop in. I think I did once recently, maybe a month ago, for a few minutes. But, you know, I just enjoy, I love all of these channels, is what I'm trying to say. All of you people out there are great.
From the United States to the UK. So you get Flowers in here. Great albums, kind of a greatest hits thing. You've got Between the Buttons. This is just wonderful.
There's Roberts on my turntable, who I'm sure you've seen on my live chats, if you've watched my live chats. And great guy. He lives close to me, just like Glenn Kellaway does. We've never met. He's never asked for my autograph because we've never met yet. And yeah, I love his, especially his recent discography review of Deep Purple, because I was just getting back into Deep Purple, so I really enjoyed that. But he's always showing unboxings and lots of box sets that he's bought. So great guy to watch and very relaxing.
Nothing on there. No. Who did this? Who
there
did
he is
that?
Talking about Nazareth.
No
That's my favorite
titles.
Nazareth album.
Just pretty much blank with Rampant on there.
Biopic was named after...
It's Rich Strickler. I didn't forget you, Rich. Yeah, great guy. And people that have been asking about the CD exchange with Glenn, Rich Strickler is doing one with Glenn and a couple of other folks whose names I'll forget. Randall is one of them. Yeah, there's 4 of them, and they each exchange a CD, and the week later they review the CD. I find it very interesting. I just watched the whole 50-minute video this morning and left a comment, and Glenn gave him the Pretty Things Parachute, and so go check that out. But yeah, he does a lot of videos too, and he's kind of similar to Sam St. John with the music that he likes. So I'm not, he's not into like prog or heavy metal, but he loves the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel, of course, Elton John. So check out Rich Strickler and especially follow the series he's doing, the CD Exchange.
That song, Rocket Man, and it appears on the Honky Chateau album here from 1972. There.
And next is 1, 2, 3. These are going to be my top 5 favorite music channels. Here we go.
There's Elton and the band on the back.
Yeah, I had top 6 because I was going to have me as number 1. I decided against that, even though it's really fun. So number 5 is...
himself. I've even seen a few people point out that because of this, we don't really learn anything new about David Bowie, and they do have a point. Much of this footage and interview content has been around for decades, but I think people haven't quite appreciated how well Brett Morgan synthesized this mountain of archival content.
So yeah, Elliot Roberts, he's done a lot of Beatles, Paul McCartney related videos. He's ranked all of Paul McCartney's albums. He just did this review of the new David Bowie film, and I just find him very knowledgeable, unlike me. and relaxing, and I just really enjoy his channel. So if you haven't checked it out and you're a Beatles fan, David Bowie fan, new music fan, check it out.
And turned it into a compelling portrait of a legendary icon. Interview excerpts are mixed with added psychedelic visuals and astonishingly well-mixed sound from...
Also gives us...
This is a recent find for me in the last month or so. Michael Nolan, The Bottom Line. And there's times I think he could be number one. Because once again, he knows what he's talking about. And I agree with like 95% of what he says. He talks about the Beatles and Get Back. He talks about Led Zeppelin. He talks about Guns N' Roses, The Who, everything. You know, I'm a big music fan. And so if you enjoy, you know, if you enjoy me talking about music, I think you would really enjoy this guy, Michael Nolan. So subscribe and check out some of, well, watch his videos and then subscribe if you enjoy him. But I really think you will.
Some insight into the writing and the thinking of the Beatles. Now this track entails really, I think it's just a recording of John, him on his guitar, singing what is the beginning of Yellow Submarine. Now keep that in mind, because I want to bring up that historically, starting with those infamous Rolling Stone interviews with John in the early 1970s, right?
And another recent find is Now Spinning Magazine with Phil Aston. I think we connected through Twitter first. And like I said, once again, this guy could sometimes be number one. I find him relaxing. Right now, he's going through all of the Jethro Tull deluxe box sets. And he's true when he says, and I agree, that the Jethro Tull series of box sets is probably the best series of box sets. They're all... you know, even the artwork is related to the individual album, and they come with like four or five CDs and 2 DVDs, a hardcover book that's like almost 100 pages long. And so he shows all of them in like these 10-minute clips. But it's more than that. He talks about other bands, and I just, really, really enjoy him. Oh, the other thing about going back to Michael Nolan, he's a big Klaatu fan, Clem.
With episode 5 of the Jethro Tull Super Deluxe Edition unboxing series, and this one we're going into real concept prog at the time, which is Thick as a Brick. So let's just dive in. So Thick as a Brick is the next one in this series, and I just want to say a quick word about saying, oh, you know, well, people like Led Zeppelin and Yes and Deep Purple couldn't have done this format because they didn't have multiple discs. There are 2 discs.
And this is the...
And number 2 is Matt with Pop Goes the 60s. Matt's been on a couple of live chats in the past. And he does, you know, he does 60s bands. He just recently had an interview with the Rascals' Felix Cavalieri. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. And it was excellent. He's done, you know, he'll do like a history of certain bands like the Rascals or Paul Revere and the Raiders. He recently did the Turtles. So if you love 60s music, check this guy out. He's good.
The subject of this was 1968. And 1968 is a great year, and it was the year I was born.
So who do you think is number one? No, it's not me, although that would have been really funny. I watched this person's review of Revolver last night, and just the detail he goes into without him being you know, obnoxious about being knowledgeable about it. He's kind of laid back, and those are my favorite kind of videos for the most part. It is The Great. Yes, The Great.
So we talk a lot about pop culture, the war.
That's great too, but
it's about the sound quality
it
of this
is
video, because I've done
Andrew
that
Dixon
on the song by song review that I've done already. So that's why I'm kind of avoiding what the songs sound like on here.
Yeah, he was, I think, he had got the box set or something, or heard the remix a couple of days before it was released, maybe on a streaming service or whatever. And so I stayed away. Like, I didn't want to hear anything, you know, until I had it and I had listened to it myself. And then after I listened to the remix, I went straight to him and his review. And what he said is especially about She Said, She Said, which I'll do my review in the next day or so. But I totally agree with what he said, basically about the whole review. I think. Yeah. It's been a long time. It was yesterday. It was last night when I watched.
It's available if you want to go and see that. This is the original mono master. So it does say mono up in the top corner of that. And then on the back of the CD case, again, it looks like a familiar Revolver album. And there's your disc for the mono version of the album. So certainly for the vinyl version, what we
inspired.
And that is it. I hope you do check out the channels you've never seen before, and you know. And next up on my channel is going to be the review of the remix of the Beatles' Revolver. So stay tuned for that. And if you do check out the other channels that you're not familiar with, please come back to this channel and leave a comment, you know, and leave your thoughts on it. And also, it's very important, if you do like a channel, to leave a comment on their channel, to help them, to support them. And I try my best. You know, sometimes, like I said, if I'm watching on the couch, I can't leave a comment and then I forget or whatever. But, you know, I try my best to leave a comment on the channels that I do like. And so I hope you do too. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.